saw, questions about Afghan troop surges were a key part of today's press conference between President Obama and the Indian Prime Minister Singh. President Obama is holding talks in Washington with Mr. Singh in what's being billed as the first state reception of his presidency. The talks are expected to range from Afghanistan and Pakistan to nuclear energy and climate change. Speaking at an elaborate welcoming ceremony, President Obama said that both countries are global leaders and both have experienced the pain of international terrorism. He described India as indispensable and central to driving the world economy out of recession.
The relationship between our two countries has never been stronger, a reminder that it will be one of the defining partnerships of the 21st century. We look forward to celebrating our partnership tonight as Michelle and I host the Prime Minister and Mrs. Carr at the state dinner of my presidency. It will be another opportunity to convey to the Prime Minister and the people of India, as India assumes its rightful place as a global leader in this century, that you will have no better friend and partner than the United States of America.
Well, to discuss that, I'm joined now in the studio by Walter Ladwig from the Department of International Relations at Merton College, Oxford. Walter, there has been a perception in India that the Obama administration is a whole lot more interested in China and Pakistan than it is in India. Is that fair? Are the Indians right to feel a bit miffed about that?
Well, you have to understand where they're coming from exactly. The last 8 years, they received a tremendous amount of attention from the Bush administration. And some would go so far as to say that the Bush administration's principal foreign policy accomplishment was forging a very important strategic partnership with India. So having gotten used to that level of frequent attention from Washington, anything less feels like a step back. And it's further compounded by the fact, though no one in Washington or New Delhi would really admit it, concerns about China did motivate the bringing together of the U.S. and India. So on the China front, those two things coming together, a feeling of less attention and obvious concern given and attention given to China certainly motivates that feeling.
And how important is it for India to be recognized as a global superpower?
Well, there's still a bit of hangover about India's past. There's always been a strong feeling within India that it was a power, it was a potential power, it was a great power, it was a great culture. It's now being recognized for its economy, for its cultural achievements, for its nuclear weapons program, but there still is a desire to be recognized, a desire to be included at the high table. And when President Obama suggests that, for example, China has a role to play in South Asian security, India suddenly feels it's gone from being told it's a budding great power to being a mere regional actor in South Asia. And that certainly bristles more than a few feathers across the political spectrum in New Delhi.
And of course, the other issue, apart from China, that overshadows India a bit is the whole situation Afghanistan and Pakistan, isn't it? I mean, that complicates this relationship.
It makes it very difficult, and there's a whole Gordian knot in this entire region. India has actually been playing a very constructive role in Afghanistan. They're the fourth largest donor. They've taken a lot of reconstruction projects, building schools and roads and so forth. And quite frankly, the Karzai administration looks very fondly on India. However, this is not viewed very popularly in Pakistan, and particularly Rawalpindi and within the Pakistani military, which view India's involvement in Afghanistan as some form of encirclement. They continue to view all of India's actions through their particular bilateral lens. And so therefore, steps that India takes that could be positive, and in some instances where the United States would want India to take a greater role, say in a vacuum, are constrained by Pakistani concerns and the fact that the U.S. has to pay careful attention to Pakistani concerns.
So, I mean, just briefly, what's the main thing, do you think, that President Obama wants to get out of this visit?
I think he wants to reassure the Prime Minister as well as Indians that he is serious about India, that he does see this strategic relationship as one that will last, that wants to achieve payoff. But I'm not so sure that they know how exactly to do that. Certainly the dotting an I's and crossing the T's on the nuclear deal will be one area, but he still has yet to articulate a real vision for India's role in the world the way the Bush administration did.
Walter Ladwig, thank you very much.
Thank you.